Come on, though. You already know what this is. First things first. God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. And we got the legacy maker himself, Mr. Exclusive. And we got the one man and the only man that could check you into the Heartbreak Hotel himself, the Heartbreak Prince. Look, thank you. And again, welcome to the Exclusive Knights Podcast. Look, it's about to get crazy because we know this week has been insane. And again, we are getting very close to WrestleMania weekend. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the 3 hours of fire with Monday Night Raw, baby. That beat goes crazy. Now, I'm not going to lie. It seems like somebody is listening on the other side. I have no idea what's been going on. Because since we talked about, last week being a disappointment, seemed like this week wasn't. Because it really was, and it truly was, 3 hours of heat, 3 hours of fire, 3 hours of nonstop storytelling that just keeps getting better, baby. And honestly, it's looking good. Because we kicked it off with Cena. And man, when I tell you, John Cena was really on all bull because he came out, and as soon as he came out, before he even started to say anything, immediately, Cody comes out. The pop is insane. The pop is there for him. You know what I'm saying? The crowd is going crazy. He comes in the ring. Now, this point, Cody had said to John Cena, what's honestly, what was your real reasoning for doing what you're doing? What was the Rock's, what was the reason why even you accepted the Rock's offer? He said to Cody that I know exactly what you are. You're nothing but a snake. You stole all the stuff that I did to become yourself, to become, undesirable, but you're still underwhelming. And he said, that's it. That's exactly what it is. He said at this point, he knows that Cody's just a phony, a big fat phony. And what's crazy, Cody, honestly, at this point, they exchanged so many words. I thought to myself, man, at this point, y'all saying so much. Why don't we just throw some hands? Cody even said to John at one point, the main thing that almost made John Cena walk out, because at this point, John Cena was pretty much done. Cody said, in all my years of wrestling, nobody's ever said or chanted, you can't wrestle. And man, you want to go back to a time when we knew John Cena was doing that? That was crazy. That made John Cena come back in the ring. Cody Rhodes comes back, hits him with the crossroads, and man, it looked good. And look at that Bullet Club finish, boy. Look, I'm telling you, that's the look of the real American Nightmare right there. You got to love that look. Then we flash forward to something else that we also talked about. The New Day. The New Day actually getting a title opportunity, which is crazy, though. But we love to see, we love to see the big, strong boy, Tyler Bate, actually came back and returned. Unfortunately, it still took the L. But honestly, New Day versus the Viking Raiders, we'll see. Then we flash forward to Gunther, pretty much killing Jimmy Uso. This looks so good for Gunther. He looks so strong. And honestly, Jimmy sold this. I'm not going to lie. This is probably, the second time we've done this with the brothers, with Jimmy and Jay, getting the hell beat out of both of them, or one of them has to watch. It's kind of crazy. Roman did it to him. Now Gunther's doing it to him. I don't know why this is a thing, but Jay's out here suffering. Honestly, they sold this, and honestly, this is so intriguing for a storyline. We need to keep this going. And honestly, it looked real strong for Gunther. It makes me wonder, can Jay still pull it off in the end? But then we flash forward to Logan Paul. Now, honestly, Logan Paul was saying he's talking this ish. Now we know we got a WrestleMania match with him and AJ Styles, and I'm not gonna cap. If y'all seen that new finisher move that this man Logan Paul hit on AJ Styles, boy, that joint was clean. Mr. Clean, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna go we flash forward.
The old pulverizer. The pulverizer, baby.
We flash forward to the main event, Rhea and Io Sky going one-on-one with Bianca Belair as the special guest referee. And honestly, not gonna lie, they really sold this for Bianca. Because honestly, Bianca really got hit so many times in the match. I said, all right, at this point, what are you gonna do, Bianca? Because you're the ref. You're the one that's calling this. So at this point, you still got control. She was letting this rock. And, honestly, y'all got to give it to her because the fact that she did, that says a lot. Bianca's getting kicked here. Then all of a sudden we get, she gets kicked out of the ring. Rhea does the classic, I'm pinning. Io's down for 10, almost 20 seconds. Bianca comes back, wakes back up. At this point, okay, what's going on? You're the ref. What are you doing? I mean, at this point, you hit me. Now, at this point, Io comes out, kicks Bianca. And at this point now, she's hit. So now she gets out the ring. Now at this point, Bianca gets up. She said, no, I'm tired, but ring the bell. This over. I'm calling it. Now, honestly, she had this real good look, like this real mean heel look to her face. I said, man, this is good for Bianca. But then, of course, what happens? Rhea comes around. Now she's trying to beat the hell out of Bianca. Then Io comes out. She hits him with a moonsault. Then Io's out here beating the hell out of Rhea. Now, at this point, Bianca comes back. And then she's trying to do some stuff. But then Rhea still ends up on top. And this is the finish. Right here. Man. Sorry. I was cooking with that one. Now, to be honest, you want to talk about a few things. I think one of the main things I want to talk about, few things that we've discussed, and apparently somehow this is happening in real time. And if y'all watching this, somebody's listening. Because we talked about saying, the New Day needs to get a title opportunity, need to have the titles. What happens? Oh, now they got a title opportunity. Okay, y'all got that one. Okay, y'all got it. But I think one of the main things that I love to see was Cena and Cody. Okay, because we also talked about what are we going to see from Cena and Cody. They haven't done anything. All we've been seeing was just exchanging of words. But the best that we've been seeing was just an exchanging of words. And then, of course, we get an answer about what's been going on with him and The Rock. And then, of course, we would get an actual interaction, some physicality going on. And see, that's the thing where I'm saying, I know for a fact somebody is here. But what else says a lot? That what we're talking about here is what we know what we're talking about. Because what we're talking about here is what we're talking about aura. We're talking about storyline. We're talking about how good is this getting. See, because it really is. And we only got, what, 2 weeks?
2. Count them down, baby. Count them down.
2.
Yeah. WrestleMania is coming.
2.
I
love everything that I've seen. Mr. Exclusive, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Action-packed Raw. Action-packed Raw. This is exactly what we begged for. Heartbreak Brother, the Prince said last week, he said, look, man, like every week we're getting this same old whatever. Like, what is this? Like, it's a chaotic Raw. Pierce comes out there, don't know what he's doing. He lost. He out here angry all week long. He's screaming at folks. They not listening to him. Then he runs off with a tantrum. And it's just a lot going on each week. But finally, it felt like they're developing the storylines a little bit better this week. And at WrestleMania around the corner, you want to be able to sell these things. You want to be able to have people invested in WrestleMania 41. Cena and Cody you're going to be invested in that no matter what the situation is. It's, it could be as bad as the Tiffy time and Charlotte thing, and people would still be invested. But that's just Cena, and that's the star power of Cena and Cody. I liked a lot of the promo. I thought it was funny that Nepo baby is a theme this week. Why are we using that okay, but that's besides the point. That became a thing this week. Because Tiffy used the same thing against Charlotte. Thing. Yeah, and I'm like, Nepo, how we keep saying Nepo baby? But anywho, it was a great way to kind of set things up for them. I'm still all about, I want the real Cody Rhodes to return. I need dashing Cody Rhodes. I'm talking about look in the mirror, happy go lucky, but that's my Cody Rhodes. Everybody got their Cody Rhodes. That's my Cody Rhodes. But yeah, great overall. I like the way they're setting up things there. New Day coming in and getting these title shots is exactly what we needed. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. We need them to come out here, and if you're going to fulfill them being heels, it kind of, not gonna say it was stale, but I felt like they weren't really pushing anything after the initial heel turn. Like they were trying to get the fans to kind of turn on, which they did pretty quick. You got your family not liking them and all that stuff, and it all worked out because now they're getting a title shot. Now they got to win these titles. They've got to win the titles. You can't not have the New Day win the titles at WrestleMania if that's the goal. And then Gunther and Jay situation, beautifully done. A masterpiece in how to book Gunther. And he sold every bit, from the beating of Jay to the eating of the licking of the blood. And you got Jay Uso fighting his hardest to try to get out. Dude, you're not getting out of this. I mean, unless you got something to cut the rope, you're stuck. You don't have the key. I don't know what he thought he was going to do. Didn't have the key. You're stuck, my guy. But it was a beautiful story being told there for a match that probably has been or the storyline that people have been trying to figure out if it's going to be enough building up to it. But this is how you do it right here. And for what they did to Jimmy, it was diabolical, but it was just, I had a friend of mine who's a big was a big wrestling fan. And, a real wrestling fan knows when to blur the lines between, us talking about the kayfabe or us talking about it as breaking down the analysis of wrestling fan, or somebody who's just a true to heart wrestling fan. And he said to me, he was like, oh man, he said, they can't do my boy Jimmy like that. I mean, intense in this chat. You can't do Jimmy like that, man. And I said, for real wrestling fans out there, that's what you want. So beautifully done there. Loved everything. Jimmy, you still need to change your clothes, bro. Like that's got to give. Logan Paul and AJ Styles is looking to be one of those show stealers. You're going to have to watch it because we all know that Logan Paul can go in the ring. We know AJ Styles can go in the ring. And that pulverizer, which is a slick little name to it, perfect finisher name, was beautifully done. Absolutely beautifully done. And the last thing, man, this women's match, and I want to say this to Triple H and whoever else back there. I forgot who the other guys that he always said editing and producing with Letting. All I know is his last name was like Letting or something. Let me tell you something, my guy. Whoever booked the women's side on both sides this year, shame on you. You have done an absolutely terrible job of booking the women's championship matches for WrestleMania. It has been not fun to watch. The only good thing I do kind of see from this, and Eric, you kind of mentioned a little while ago, we can kind of see the inklings of a Bianca heel turn. And we can thank the international crowds for that, because the international crowds right off the bat, hey, we don't like Carol, we don't like you. They pretty much booed her the whole time she was over there, black wrestler or not. They just kind of just gave her the heat. And now that's translated over to here where it's like people seem to be tired of Bianca. And that's okay, because if you want the heel turn, this is the time. It still, to me, feels like a match that is being forced upon us. We all wanted to see Bianca or at least I know I wanted to see Bianca and Rhea. Yeah. It's something there, guys, that I know it's going to be a good match, but I just feel like it hasn't grabbed me to make me be like, yo, this match going to be it. Now, maybe night of, I'll be like, yo, they pass all expectations. It's going to be great, but yeah, great Raw. Love what I saw overall. Better week, guys. Better week. Good job, Adam Pearce. Good job.
Yeah, I think this week of Raw was more what I would say concentrated, and I think it was a little bit more focused. And I'm glad that we finally got to see some type of physical dust up, some type of physicality between Cena and Cody. I love the fact that Cody stood his ground with John Cena, because it's a known fact that people are intimidated by Cena in a ring and on a mic and going head to head, because Cena is so good and he's so comfortable. He's in his environment when he's on the mic in front of people. And for a lot of wrestlers, it's intimidating because they know Cena can really just kind of go off the cuff. And his stuff, his punchlines, everything is perfect. His delivery, all of that is perfect. And for many of the other wrestlers, it's stuff that they have to really practice at, rehearse at, and have lines written for them and things of that nature. So it can be intimidating. It can be intimidating. And Cody stood his ground with Cena in the ring, and then for them to have that physical bit at the end, I thought was very good to see, and kind of reset the tone a little bit and the atmosphere between them going into WrestleMania. I still think that the crowd is still in love with Cena, even in this heel turn phase, which is, I mean, you can't do nothing but say kudos to Cena. I love this look here. This last time is now. It's kind of one of those bittersweet things, in the sense of, we know this is Cena's last hoorah, or at least, that's how he's putting it. And I believe him. I mean, the man hasn't wrestled really over the past few years often, and he comes back now every now and again for bigger shows or whatever. So we know that we're not really going to get him on wrestling television, too much more after this, because he has a whole new career, something else that has his attention. And so it's kind of bittersweet seeing that, because it's like reminding you constantly, like, enjoy this, enjoy it while it's here, enjoy it while it's here. And I'm gonna do just that. But to move on to the next thing that I really enjoyed was this feud with Gunther, Jimmy, and Jay. And what I loved about this is that old school feel it had to, that old school heel feel that Gunther had. I love this right here. And, for me, Gunther, since he's been the champion, I don't feel like he's been put in the best storylines and had the best competition to challenge him since he's been champion. And I feel like this story here is really not starting. It has been really good, and they've been growing on it each and every week. And it's just getting better and better and better leading into WrestleMania. And I'm going to say something that I feel may be controversial here. I know it's going to be, everybody right now is in, it's all about the yeet. But seeing this and seeing Gunther in this element and seeing them have this to kind of work with for a change kind of makes me want to see him retain the title at WrestleMania. I know that's not going to be a popular decision, because of the fact that, everybody right now is going crazy for Jey Uso. We all kind of want to see him do this. We want to see him, become the champion and be a solo champion. He's already had the US belt, but to have the world title and to carry, the company on his back is huge. But I'm also one of those in that feel of like, can we push this down the road just a little bit, maybe to SummerSlam, and we see this happen, just to see, Gunther cook a little bit more as this goes on. But that was a very, very exciting bit that they had there. I loved it. Jay's, handcuffed to the ropes. Jimmy's laid out. He's bleeding. Gunther's out here just tormenting him. I mean, it's perfect heel heat. And I loved it. So it was really, really good shout out to those wrestlers, Jimmy, Jay, Gunther, in that segment. They killed it. And then another thing that I want to talk about is the Io, Bianca, and Rhea. Now, we know that has been like a big thing, a big deal for us for the last few weeks, because for a couple of weeks, they were coming out doing the same thing where we were bringing them out. They were all slapping Io and shoving her off, and she's the champion that never was. But this week, I think this kind of shows what happens when you put wrestlers in situations where they have bad content to work with. Now, I'm not saying the match that they put on or anything was bad, but what I mean is the outcome, the way they had to finish this match and wrap this match up. It was like, okay, so we did all of this. We made all this hoorah. We did the whole Bianca bit. Belair is the special guest referee, to get here to have a match just to have it end with her saying we're disqualifying both wrestlers after they had been beating up on her the whole match, both of them. And so it was kind of like, see, this is what happens when you have a bad story and you have a bad storyline. You have weird little things like this take place. And it is ultimately going to end up just being a triple threat match. So I would rather see them put time into building more of a story between the three of them and kind of allowing them to have these confrontations, whether in the back, whether out in the ring, that type of thing. than to do something like this and then end in a disqualification of both wrestlers. Because now what's going to happen is you're going to come back on Monday and you're probably going to be saying it's just going to be a triple threat match. Well, we knew that from the beginning. So let's put our effort and our focus into making a good story, getting good heat. Let's try to let the fans and figure out, is Bianca going to be heel? Is Rhea heel? We know Io's, she's the champion and she's the face. The crowd is in love with her right now. But what is the story? What is this dynamic, that's going to be going on between all three girls? And how is this going to play out in the ring to ultimately who's going to come out on top? And so I know that they're not working with the best, content right now, and they're making it work. I'm just hoping that their match at WrestleMania delivers, because we truly have three talents in Io, Bianca, and Rhea. And so I just don't want to see them fail, or this whole match thing fail or come apart because of the bad, script that they've been working with.
Yeah.
So that's my rant box.
Yeah.
And then one last thing, love the AJ Styles Logan Paul thing. I think that's going to be a great match. I say what you want about Logan Paul. I may not be his biggest fan personally, but as far as him being a wrestler and being in the ring, he's phenomenal. He's a really good talent, and I think him and AJ are a great pairing, and I think that match will deliver.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I mean,
and Sosa, better late than never, buddy.
Yeah, that's right, man. We're glad to have you, brother, and everybody else that's joined us. We appreciate y'all. Yeah, hey, look, I think that that, like I said a little while ago, that's going to be the match that steals. That could be when we were feeling about Kevin Owens, but we'll get to that in a minute. But I feel like that could be the one right now that could be the match stealer. Logan has always delivered. His matches are always entertaining, so I wouldn't be surprised there.
And he's a safe wrestler. Very safe wrestler.
He does take care of his people, so you gotta love that, especially for somebody who comes off the street. I mean, it's amazing in the last couple of years where we've been able to see a guy like Bad Bunny come in here and do his thing, and it's like almost effortless for a guy.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it goes to people who've been wrestling fans all their lives, and they really appreciate the craft, and I think it's been really nice to see these guys get into going down to the Performance Center, practicing, learning from legends in the game to try to get themselves prepared for these moments, and then to come out here and kill it has been it's been amazing to watch.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys, and it's not I know a lot of people, there's some wrestling people that don't like them doing these things. You come in here, you think you're all this, but it's always been a part of wrestling. We've seen the Dennis Rodmans come into the game. We've seen
Karl Malone,
and all these people come in, Shaq and wrestle. So it's okay. But for them to be able to do it the way they do it, this is like a different level. Like Bad Bunny, if he wanted to be a wrestler, I'm 100% sure he could do it, and there would be no grabs there. Last time I wanted to add on the EO and stuff situation, that you said, I just wish they had built a true storyline with this. There's no real direction. The match is going to be a good match. I don't doubt that whatsoever.
Phenomenal.
But you want it to bring you in. You want to be sucked in. You want to fall in love with what you're about to see. Like what we stand from Roman and Rollins, and we're going to be invested in that because we're invested going into it. But this women's match feels put together. And there's a little disappointment that Jade is somehow not a part of this because of all of the stuff that led up to Jade not being in there. Like there's parts of this that could have made this like, whoa.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. And I'm gonna piggyback off of that, what you're saying, because I was kind of thinking about that as well. I feel like if this was something that was going on with like maybe Bianca, Jade, and Naomi, I think that's where they really would have cooked. If that, what I'm saying? Like maybe if it was like, so, okay, hypothetically. So let's just say if Bianca was the one that won the title, now if it maybe, or if Naomi was the one that won the chamber, just in some ways, if I'm just changing this up.
Right.
And maybe if it was her and Bianca and Jade was now putting herself in the mix from just all this whole situation. If they did something like that, okay.
It would make sense.
Yeah. And I think even, and again, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but even with Jade and Naomi, they're cooking with that right now. So I do feel like with Bianca just doing her thing on Raw, I do feel like she's kind of like just away and not doing anything.
How's Bianca not a part of this? Like they completely forgot about her. Like she needs to be a part of this match. Like that shit, like you said, if they were somehow the champion, heck, if they really wanted to do it, they should have made Bianca champion somehow and then have them all go for it and, you know, just fight for it that way, because that's the storyline that they've been building for us since Naomi went through
since last year.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense to Bianca's I'm done, walks away, and we haven't heard anything related to her in that whatsoever. And I still think Jade and Naomi will have a solid match at Mania, but Bianca needs to be a part of that. Like, you know, and maybe they're saving it for Backlash, or maybe they revisit it, but you don't kill that momentum. So it's a rare miss. It's a rare miss. But I didn't like the way they did that. Rare miss.
Yeah, man. But you know, we talked about some of the great things with the 3 Hours of Fire on Monday Night Raw. Now it's time to talk about Shawn Michaels. Well, this man cooking it up with the chef's hat with NXT, baby.
Yeah.
Man, that beat goes crazy every time.
every time. Not some of the time, every time.
Every time, boy.
Every
so,
time.
you know, we gotta talk about some things with NXT. Will I say I will give Shawn Michaels the chef's hat? I think still, in a lot of ways, I think I still can. I think we can still give Shawn the chef's hat, because this man was cooking up in a lot of different ways. And honestly, some ways that were a few eyebrow raising. So we started it off with La Primera. That's right. The woman with the aura herself, Stephanie Valkyrie. Now she comes out, right? She comes out and she is out there with Ava. Man, anytime when you see a chant with the general manager, just know it's never going to be a good thing. I have never seen a good situation ever come out of this.
Stephanie, I've got some bad news. Where's Wade Barrett when you need him?
Oh, my God. This was just something else that the crowd was not feeling. A lot of people were not happy about this. Stephanie Valkyrie vacates a North American championship, keeps the NXT championship, and now we have a 6-woman ladder match that's going to be happening at Stand and Deliver. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But then when she drops the title, who comes out? Jordynne Grace. Now she says she wants to be up next for the NXT champion. But Jada Parker and Miss Parker herself comes out and lets it be known, oh no, you took my title shot. Stephanie Valkyrie says, well, at this point, maybe y'all need to go ahead and talk about this and figure this one out. So, you know, they go crazy. Jada Parker and Jordynne Grace is throwing hands. Now, at this point, Jordynne Grace takes a dude and throws him the whole top rope. This man sold this, and this was good. Make it good. So then we flash forward to something that, you know, I don't think a lot of us are too happy about. Overall, a great match for one Lash Legends for showing out, having her moments, but of course, taking an L again, which we don't like, seeing Zarya beating Lash Legends, and now she's in. She also qualified to be in the 6-women ladder match. We flash forward to the No Quarter Catch crew beating Hank and Tank. Now, honestly, I don't know what we're doing with Hank and Tank. I mean, we got them out here with Pretty Deadly, you know, trying to get advice from them. And then, I don't know. Then they're out here still losing. So we're just going to go ahead and go to that. Then we flash forward to something that was very interesting. Something that we've been kind of talking about already. Something that we called 2 weeks ago. Now, if you want to talk about a triple threat match that doesn't feel forced, that's something that has actually been building for a year. And we're going to talk about this. The young OG, Javon Evans, tells Trick, hey, look, bruh. And honestly, like I said, I love hearing the young OG on the mic, man. It's so natural. It is so real when he's on that mic, man. And honestly, not gonna lie, cook Trick. He cooked my man Trick Willie Walker. At this point, My man had to go back to the chocolate factory because this just wasn't good. I mean, he was to the point where, I mean, Javon Evans called Trick Williams Carmelo Hayes.
That was good.
He said, "You ain't Trick, you Carmelo Hayes." Now, if y'all want to know a reference, the first thing I thought about was just the whole Charles Barkley scene on Space Jam. When they said, "You're not Charles Barkley, you just a wannabe that looks like him. Be gone. Wannabe, be gone."
It's crazy.
Hit him with that. So now Obafemi comes out.
Who?
The ruler. Man, he comes out. Goes crazy. He says it doesn't matter what Trick is talking about. He's talking all that stuff. And he tells Javon Evans, you might as well step to the side. But Javon Evans said, "Oh, no. Let's think about it. You forgot about deadline. Remember, if I had one more second, the outcome would have been different. This outcome would have been looking different." He indicates, telling them, honestly, it should have been me with that title if I had one more second. Now, Trick says, "I don't really care about nothing that you talk about." Tries to dismiss Javon Evans multiple times. And they're not hearing. Javon's not hearing that. And, of course, who comes out? Ava. Oh, she comes out in the guns and says, "Oh, yeah, here you go. Now it's a triple threat match." Yeah, of course, we knew that was happening. We already called that. We said that. And who comes out? Dark State. Dark State comes out. Now, honestly, they came out, beat the hell at all three men. Beat the hell out of Obafemi. Beat the hell out of Young OG. And beat the hell, real hell, out of Trick Willie Walker. Because at that point, I mean, they took this man and just tossed this man around. And it just looked so bad. It looked real bad. Honestly, it makes me still wonder if Trick Williams is this whole mastermind plot with Dark State. This could have been a whole work. This could have been just him telling them, "Hey, just whoop me just to look like I ain't part of it." But we'll see what happens with that. Then we flash forward to my girl, Lonnie.
She's back.
Lonnie, man, come on. I said I missed Lonnie last week. Y'all gave me Lonnie back. I appreciate that. Because it was looking good. Lonnie comes back. She beats Roxanne Perez to get that North American title opportunity at the six-woman ladder match at Stand and Deliver. She's the second entry. Let's go, Lonnie. You see she got that 2-up. She's ready to be a two-time North American Women's Champion.
Should have never lost.
Should have never lost. Should have never lost. She should have still had it to this day. Then we flash forward to my man, Ricky Saints. Honestly, this was a good match with him and Sean Spears. My man at one point did a strut, was going down, doing the whole strut. Pushing some ladies on the side, okay? You want to talk about something that was just natural, that felt like a superstar. That was Ricky Starr. It's Ricky Saints. Man.
Same dream.
I know, right? And after we see Ricky Saints beating Sean Spears, he gets attacked by who? Ego. Yo, that's right. Yeah, this man is back and on all bull. He comes out, attacks Ricky Saints, and honestly, at this point, he declares he wants that North American champion. And this is the finish, right here. Man. Now, to be honest, a couple of things we got to talk about. Couple of things. I think multiple things we need to talk about here. First things first. We're going to start off with the beginning of the show. Okay. Stephanie Valkyrie. Couple of things. Why are we going to give her the North American Women's Champion? For her to unify the NXT Women's Champion, for her to drop the North American Women's Champion. You know what that reminds me of? Keith Lee. Oh, you want a history lesson? Well, let's go back to 2020 when my man Keith Lee beat Adam Cole for the NXT title.
Baby.
And they had a unified champion. And so Keith Lee wins this. Unifies. Right? What happens? A couple weeks later, oh, I'm going to be dropping the North American champion. You never lost that title, but that's the title that you dropped. And then what happens? He loses that match. He loses that title, to Karrion Kross.
Crazy work.
So, I'm not going to say that's going to happen to Stephanie Valkyrie, but I'm not going to lie. When I see something like that, that's very concerning. Why are you dropping a title you never lost? That's not good, okay? I love Stephanie Valkyrie. She got the R. She got it on her. But I'm just saying, you should have never put the title on Fallon Haley if you was going to put on Stephanie Valkyrie from jump. You should have just kept it on Lonnie. Lonnie was good. If you wanted to have her go heel, I still love what y'all did with Lonnie. Don't get me wrong. But this whole thing was dropping the title. Okay, cool. But if you're going to have somebody win this, it better be Lonnie. Because you had Lash Legend lose to Zarya. And honestly, you want to talk about something that was a travesty? Oh, yeah, that was. Because honestly, Lash looked so good in this match. She looked extremely strong. Roderick strong, baby. Because there was a lot of times, even when she had a whole spot where they had a huge chop. Okay, that's the big Lash. Stop playing with her. I mean, the chop heard around the room, around the world. And that chop was so crazy. They even did to a point where they both did one of those little, hop jump things. Lash landed, picked up perfectly. Zarya slipped up. Crowd said it. Corey Graves tries to substitute, throw in a little something, saying, hey, she's a little off her game. That was smart. That was smart from Corey. Really was. But honestly, having Lash lose again and again and again is crazy. You got to do better for my girl Lash. You got to do better for my girl Chikara. Yeah, they might be having a title opportunity on Impact. Will they be the ones to win that? Like we also talked about, if possibly they win and take that back and forth to NXT? We'll see. But again, we shouldn't be having Meta 2, doesn't matter who the meta is. You shouldn't be having them losing like this. These girls have been on a momentum train going like crazy. You go on Smackdown, you go crazy. You go on Raw, you going crazy. You go on NXT, you going crazy. You go on Impact, you going crazy. Why don't these women have titles yet? I'm good with living Raquel. But at this point, like we've been saying, make some women tag titles for the brands, especially for NXT. You have so many women. Just give them the titles. And then I think just one last thing. I'm just gonna say, and I'm gonna let y'all talk your ish because I love seeing Oba, I love seeing Trick, I love seeing the young OG. Honestly, seeing the boy just get bouncy with the mic. Honestly, Javon looks so good on this whole promo battle. Now, honestly, I'm gonna say this. I genuinely and highly feel like everything is pointing for Javon Evans to win this title. I just can't get over this. I keep looking at it. I want to say Oba sometimes because that's the ruler. I could say Trick Willy Wonka, but honestly I do not feel like Trick is winning this at all. I don't. But who do I honestly see winning this and thriving? The young OG, bro. There's so much that this man has done within the last year. Okay, he was in the Heat Wave match. Honestly, when we talk about that was the man that lost that match. Okay, if it wasn't for him getting pinned by Ethan Page, who knows if Trick would have even lost that title. Okay, we'll talk about something else with Deadline again. This man was a second away from having that NXT title opportunity. Okay, and now we go to here. This doesn't feel forced. This actually feels like we got a story, and it's looking and it's cooking real good, Megan good. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Very similar to some of your thoughts. I didn't care what they did this week with Stephanie and the belts. Again, I look at I'm a sucker for storytelling and consistency and stuff, and so I understand. Listen, it's not going to be perfect. It's just not the case. But I'm thinking about, well, dang, last week she just had 2 back-to-back title defenses, never been done. It was a big deal, and then she comes out this week to start the show and said, I got to drop a title. Now, what I will give them credit for is the way that they were able to phrase this. Stephanie, being very professional, talked about, hey, there's a lot of women in the back that need opportunities. And me having, both titles, I'm not here to kind of drown out talent. I want to raise the women's division, which is really good. And, especially when you're dropping the title to kind of put it that way, because the crowd, they were upset. But I think after Stephanie kind of put it that way and he thought about it for a second, they probably like, yeah, I mean, this kind of makes sense. Let somebody else also have a chance to be to be a champion and show their talents and abilities. But Stephanie, she's going to be fine. Like we always say, or like you always like to say, she has that aura. So 2 belts really is not going to make us love Stephanie Valkyria any more than what we already do. And so, dropping a belt, giving somebody else an opportunity, fine. The crime in all of this is the fact that Lash Legends comes trotting out here and she loses again. And it's just, for as good. And I feel like Lash has been so good in the ring over the years, and over the last couple of years, and she has not really received any opportunities like to be a champion. And she could be one of those behemoths of a champion for the women's division, where it's like you're trying to overcome this mountain here, because she's big, she's dominant, she's strong, she's good looking, like everything. So it's crazy though to see like this situation where it's like she's more of a jobber than anything else, because we see her go on SmackDown, she loses. We see her on NXT, she's losing. So it's like where's the win in this? When is she going to be able to get over that heel and actually grab a victory? I'm hoping it's for these TNA tag team championships, but we'll see. So that's the one thing I was like, I wish that result would have been a little bit different. But again, we're seeing this trend, and we talked about it with Ricky Saints. We're seeing this trend, and we talked about it last week, by the way. WWE has this thing right now, like if you want a title, come from a different promotion, come from another promotion, and you're going to get a title, and you're going to get a title quick. Ricky Saints been here for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We just learned his name was Ricky Saints, and already he's the North American champion. And I'm not mad about him being the champion, but at the same time, I wanted to see what can the culling do. Like, what was he going? What could they have done with this title and with the group that he's got going on? They're cooking right now, and already he's been defeated. So now, you got Ricky Saints. He's the champion. He's going to go, on his run. But it's like, now what does that do though for the culling? And it's like, to me, titles are changing hands too rapidly. And it's kind of to me it dulls the prestige of that title, of that belt, when you do that. And so like I love to see. I think what made Roman Reigns run so great was the fact that for 3 years he sauntered out to the ring as the champion, and I think over that time it allowed that title to feel more and more and more and more like the title that needed to be sought after, compared to like the championship on Raw, where it was changing hands more consistently. And I do think there is something to that, seeing people with a belt for a period of time. But overall, the NXT show was good. Like I said, little things that you want to nitpick, whatever. But overall, it was good. It was a good show. Javon Evans, Oba, and Trick. I am really looking forward to Stand and Deliver. Like, this is what good storytelling does. This is the investment that you get from fans when you have good content, good storyline, good delivery, like all of these things. That it's like, man, I would be mad if Javon Evans wins. I want to, but I'm a ruler. I love Oba Femi. Like, ooh, like I want the belt to stay with my man, with my dog. Pause. I mean, but my boy, Oba Femi is that dude. And so, I'm really excited for Stand and Deliver, because I think, and specifically this match in particular, because I think they have just been doing a phenomenal job with the story, with, and like one last thing real quick, like even with Dark State, us thinking they related to somebody, like somebody in here is their leader. Is Javon Evans. Well, he got beat up and tossed. It's Trick. He got beat up and tossed. So excuse me. So it's making me wonder, like, who is the leader of Dark State? Like what is the story? Why are they after these 3 guys in particular? Why do they keep interfering? So it's exciting. It's good to see. It really is.
Yeah, it almost makes you think, is there a outside person that no one's thinking about that could be related to the situation. You know, we did see on TNA that Moose was having a little issues with his people in the system. You know, who knows? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. But there's a part of me that's starting to make you wonder: is it somebody? Because a lot of us think it could be a work where one of the other guys that you toss it, but could it be somebody on the outside that we don't realize that is controlling the dark state and has something involved in one of these wrestlers or some of these wrestlers? So that's something we have to start to potentially think about.
Keith Lee coming back.
I mean, look, it could be anybody, and that's the thing. Who Carmelo Hayes? I mean, he's struggling on the main roster. Maybe they swinging them that way for whatever reason. Who knows? But
awesome.
Yeah. But my thing is this: for overall, I thought it was a great NXT. The whole situation with the three it should be a really good title match. I will say this, and I'm I'll eat crow a little bit. I am proud of the way Javon Evans has been on the mic. It has gotten better. Mm-hmm. It's still a little bit to me, but it is a lot better than what it was in the beginning. And beginning, I was like, whoa, I don't know who teaching him in class down in NXT.
Help this boy.
Yeah, please say my man. But he has
real and raw.
Yeah, no Diddy. But 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 for real though, he's really done a really good job. Especially the way he's been using cooking Trick. I mean, it's been a little rough on Trick, but what he said about Carmelo was probably 100%, great storytelling, because he's doing exactly what Carmelo Hayes did to him. Mm-hmm. He's doing that to Javon. Mm-hmm. It's funny how that's kind of played out, where he was kind of like his, no one said sidekick, but his guy, maybe not on the same level where the way Trick and Carmelo had things going, but it's nice to kind of see that, like a little bit of a different way of doing it, but it has that vibe to it. So, like, Javon obviously looked up to Trick, and Trick, in the beginning was all cool with it, but I think also Trick saw the threat in Javon. Like he saw what Javon was doing in these matches with Randy Orton and with Ethan Page. He knows that he's no slouch. He can't just go in there and think, oh, he's young and dumb. That's not how that's going to work. The kid can go. So that's what makes that whole thing interesting. I don't know who wins this match. I do agree with you both. I don't think it's Trick. I really do think they're setting Trick up to make the leave. And I still say now, Trick and Carmelo need to get together and become a tag team and continue to work, get both of them going on the main roster. Because I feel like Trick time in NXT is slowly, or at the point where it's getting to the end, and it's okay. Like he's over enough to where he can go to the main roster and do some good things. It also makes me wonder, with Oba, because Oba's done some really good things, and would they try to make that leap? If Javon wins this, maybe that's something. But and then you throw Dark State in there. It's going to be a solid storyline to come. And then we go to Stephanie and them. So the whole situation with Stephanie and this three-way that's going to more likely happen. Somehow. I mean, we know it's going to happen. I mean, they're
triple threat season, baby.
Triple threat season.
Triple threat, Fatal 4, Fatal 5. Come on now.
Exactly. So it's going to happen. Now, here's the problem that I have with this. I agree with you guys when you said, hey, you don't want to see the person, you give up the North American title. And, I feel like if you're going to give up the North American title, it probably should have been one of these women that win the North American title. Prince, you made a great point about how all you got to do is come from a different company and, your brand shiny new toy, and you're going to get a title. We've been seeing this for a hot minute. But we also Ethan Page was one of those guys where he just went to the wayside. And it's funny because I talked about it last week. We talked about it last week. We're saying man, Ethan Page needs to be in the picture. He just dropped him out of the picture. Now, where's he at? Right back in the title picture. On. Right back in the title picture. With him and Ricky Saints kind of going at it. So that's what I like. But I think that triple threat match should be a solid one. I agree 1,000% that if Kalani is not the person that wins that North American title, I'm going to be upset. I got to see who else is in the match. If Sol Ruka ends up, I don't know if she qualified not yet. So if Sol Ruka,
please be involved.
If she's involved, her and Kalani for me right now are the two that I like to see it. But now also remember now, Zarya is one of those shiny new toys.
She is.
And for her to beat Lash is good for her because that's going to show, okay, she's beating one of the NXT vets that have been here for a while. And so I think that was kind of part of that. And if that ends up happening, I think Zarya's going to win that match. I'm just going to throw that out there now. I think that's who they will probably give it to. But to me, it needs to be Kalani, Sol Ruka, if she gets in that match. We'll see on that. So they've done a lot there, and it's funny that we're going to have 2 straight, ladder matches, 6 women ladder matches for the North American title back to back, Stand and Deliver. So that's a cool deal. Like I really will be excited for that match. It won't be something I'm like, oh man, why is this happening? But I'm very excited for that match. I want to also say that, and I agree with you guys. Like the Lash Legend situation is out of control. This losing is crazy work.
It's insane.
I mean, and even Jakar Jackson, I feel like the momentum they had a couple months ago for some reason is just they decided not to go that way, and it's probably because all the shiny new toys, and they're in another situation where they have so much talent, and that's probably been WWE's problem. They have so much talent that they don't know what to do with it. It's almost at a point that do we need a second NXT show? Because it's starting to feel that way. It's starting to feel that we need to get a second NXT show that's in the prime time. I know they got like Level Up, all that stuff like that, whatever, or Evolved and all that. They need a prime. I think they might need another prime time show. Like how the main roster has SmackDown and Raw. I mean, I don't know NXT Liftoff. I don't know what it is, but they need to figure something out with that. I think that's something that they definitely need to look at. Last thing I'll talk about. And the thing that's disappointed me the most, Shawn Spears should still be North American champion. I am truly disappointed. I do not dislike Ricky Saints, but just the promo that they did, that the pre-planned promo, the pretty one, when they're all sitting in Shawn Spears is doing his best work that I've ever seen him personally do.
Yeah.
And him and the Cunning, I feel like that's a missed opportunity. The man had the belt less than a month.
Yeah.
And they took the title from him. Why?
Why?
The Culling, I mean, like it felt great. Like he had a presence with that championship that I was like, wow, Perfect 10, all that cool. I never knew how good he was on the mic until he's come back for this run. And I'm like, yo, they need to hold the belt for a while. Like he could be champion for like 6-7 months. It'd be cool. But they took it too fast away from the Don. Unless the Don's injured, which starting to make me think he might be injured and reason why he didn't the title. But it's those things. Too many title changes in NXT right now where they used to be very good about holding on the title. So maybe they're just trying to shuffle things out because there's so many new people and they're trying to place things, but they got to fix that soon, fellas. They got to fix that soon.
Yeah, I mean, because some of the best title runs, in NXT were people that held the belts like forever. They became like this, impenetrable force, for lack of a better, term. Like I think about Asuka, I think about Shayna Baszler, Ember Moon had it for a minute. Like it was and that's what made it like this is dope. Like because every time they wrestled, you wanted to see them like, can this person actually beat Asuka? Nobody's ever beaten Asuka. Like, and, that type of thing. And now it's like every couple weeks, we got a new champion. And it's just like, well, I mean, I don't know. It's okay. It is what it is. Listen, it can't be perfect. I understand. It's just, but I feel like you start to take away, like I say, some of the prestige.
Yeah. I mean, you look at those, like you said, these people that have come in from other companies that have well established in other companies. I feel like they've put those people over top of the people that they developed. Yeah. And I kind of hate that. Yeah. Minus maybe like a Jada Parker right now who's cooking on all cylinders. But this is another reason why I'm worried for her in that triple threat match when it does get officially announced. Because she should be North American champion. Like she's the one to me that's done the most work outside of all of the new people that have come in that has that star power in the women's division who transcends. Everybody loves Jada Parker unless you're some weirdo. But most people love, Miss Coffee. I know I do. I mean, when she's out there doing her thing, she's great mic skills. She has aura.
The crowd went crazy for her this week.
Yeah, Miss Parker.
Yeah,
and I think it surprised her because she had this.
I think it did. She had a big smile on her face. It surprised. Yeah, they went crazy for her.
She has really grown as a wrestler.
It's that music too. That entrance, they changed it up. It actually works.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. But even with that, like that's why I feel like when we talk about with Kalani, not shouldn't have really lost the North American champion, right? I feel like if anybody that was going to beat her for it should have been Jada Parker.
Yes.
Yeah. Because everything that they talked about, everything that they were doing, that little man, what? They could have been cooking with this. Could have been a stand and deliver match.
That was a good storyline leading up into it. I hate they only did one match and it was like, we're done. They shouldn't be done. And maybe Kalani wins it, and maybe Jada goes back after. Who knows? Because I got a feeling that Jada's not winning that match. As much as I would like to see her win it, I don't think she wins that match. They either give it to Jordan Grace or they keep it with Stephanie. But if they take it from Stephanie, it makes me think, like you said, Eric, the Keith Lee treatment. Keith Lee went into the main roster like right after that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, Stephanie has another person who had a choice coming in the company. Do you want to be on the main roster or do you want to be on NXT? She decided to be on NXT initially. Maybe she's getting so popular, they said, well, look, we want to bring you up to the main roster. And I could see that happening, and she could get the Keith Lee treatment. So you're calling this, sir. Don't be surprised if Jordan.
They can use Stephanie on Raw.
They could. They need.
Raw needs. Raw needs. A nice, good female, wrestler. Yeah.
She could take the Intercontinental title, honestly. That's who could really hold that belt.
And Roxanne Perez is on Raw, technically, correct now? Is that where she's pretty much been at? Because she's been over there with Bayley and stuff.
But she's been making appearances. I don't know if it's official yet. Right. Maybe right at the WrestleMania, they'll probably make it. Yeah.
But if you bring her up there, you bring Stephanie up there, now you got yourself some great young talent to go along with Bayley, and you got Shayna Bayley. So now you got a little bit of a better pool there of people who, like Eric likes to say, aura that could work. Like Roxanne Perez has aura. It's a little weird at times, but I like it, and she knows what she's doing. She's a great wrestler. The prodigy. So like they could work that. But I don't be surprised. So you could be 100% on for that. So 3 weeks from now, we're like, Eric, you kind of called it, sir. And we could be saying that in a couple of weeks.
Oh man, I know. I part of me, I'm hoping not, but it's one of those where it's like it's looking it's kind of right in my face. Pause. Yeah. But we talked about some of the great things with NXT. Now it's time to talk about the best part of the end of the week with Friday Night Smackdown, baby. So, SmackDown, it went crazy again. And honestly, I am very happy and satisfied with what happened here, because this also was 3 hours of heat, 3 hours of fire, 3 hours of nonstop storytelling that just kept getting better. Man, we kicked it off with CM Punk. Comes out, the hometown hero, the Second City Saint, comes out, talks about, of course, everything that's been going on with Roman and Seth, but he also talks about the favor. But between that, Paul Heyman comes out. He asks him, what is this favor? Because, we would think the favor's been already pulled off. You're at the main event of WrestleMania. What is left for this favor? CM Punk tells him, I'll tell you both when Roman Reigns gets here. Drops the mic, keeps it pushing. Then we flash forward to man a great debut of my man Ray Phoenix. Now, honestly, there was a part and a spot in the match where Nathan Frazier actually was running between the ropes, almost fell. I got so scared for Ray Phoenix because I said, "Oh my God!" It looked like he fell right on Ray Phoenix's knee, but Ray Phoenix was good, recovered, was all good. Love to see what he did running on the ropes. Definitely had some people going crazy for it. Can't wait to see what he does next. There was a kick that he kind of slightly missed. Of course, one of my favorite spots that he does. So for him to kind of miss it, I'm like, dang it, that sucks because you're a man of precision. But I know how it is because you had to help Nathan Frazier, so I get it. Then we flash forward to LA Knight. Yeah. Beating. Yeah. Tommy. And honestly,
my man Tom will need a push. I'm just throwing it out.
He does.
He need a push, man.
He does. He really does. Honestly, this storyline has been something that's been building up for the last few months because honestly, LA Knight was throwing out the bloodline a few months ago just so he can have his title opportunity. And honestly, to see what's been going on with him, one thing that we definitely had to see was just something with him, but we know what's going to be happening soon with them. We're going to talk about that in a second. Then we flash forward to something that was a little bit hard, a little bit difficult, a little bit of man, I don't know. Some stuff it was a lot. You know, Charlotte said some words. She really couldn't say much. The crowd booed her so much. Tiffany Stratton looked kind of strong with the promo battles. Of course, she was asking the crowd, what time is it? Crowd's going, it's Tiffy time, and this is great to see. But then, of course, we go a little bit farther through with that. And then, of course, we just see, just some other stuff going on with Tiffany and Charlotte. And honestly, at this point with them, I think what the problem is, it was a good promo for the most part. Charlotte couldn't really say much. She booed. Tiffany Stratton, I think what the problem is with her, I think the scripting and the writing is there. It's just either the delivery or how they're writing this. I don't know what's going on. But it just had awkward moments. There was a part where, Tiffany does tell Charlotte, you are 0-3 when it comes to relationships. Hits Wu, drops the mic, walks off. Charlotte says, why is Kaiser in my DMs? We have no idea if that's true or not. So we'll just let that be. Flash forward to the Motor City Machine Guns beating DIY for a tag team opportunity. And obviously, like I said, I don't care what we're talking about here. I don't care what they're telling you. We know for a fact this is going to be a Fatal 4 or a Fatal 5-way match. We already know this is happening. We already know what the trend is this year. It must be, hey, let's bet all odds or all I don't know. But because we're seeing so many groups of people, so much talent being put together, you got no other choice but to do this. Then we flash forward to one of my favorite parts. Naomi, oh man, going crazy, beating B-Fab. And literally, after that, calls Jade out. Jade comes out, has a little attack. But Naomi, honestly, I love this side of Naomi, honestly. This is so good. It's so raw. I mean, at one point, there was even a part where she was outside the ring with Naomi. And I know, as R-Truth would say, it definitely was not PG for that moment. But we love to see it from that. Then we flash forward to one thing that I loved to see. Well, not really loved, but I guess in some ways, a little bittersweet, but I don't think this is real. I think this is the work because of how close we are to WrestleMania. Reminds me of like Seth Rollins, 2017, WrestleMania 33, he had to face Triple H with the whole knee situation. Yeah, I'm not sold on this. You can go ahead and keep it KO. We know you're going to be having that match with Randy Orton. But, of course, you tell Randy Orton that, and what does he do? He RKO's Nick Aldis. So you know what? Maybe in some ways, maybe Nick Aldis might be the man that goes against Randy Orton for WrestleMania. We'll see what happens with that. I'd be okay with that. I
actually would too. I thought about that last night.
I would definitely be okay with that. If that was the replacement, yeah, sign me up. I'm all for it. That man has been had the 10 pounds of gold. Stop playing with him because that man is nothing but strictly business. Okay, then we flash forward to my man. The man with the magic boots, okay? Hell. You seen what it was. Hell. You know what it was. Hell. And you know what happened. He beat Braun Strowman. And he did what he said he was going to do. He was the last Man, standing. And you know what else? I'm telling you now, and I told one of our subscribers when I actually met him, I told them, because he had an LA Knight shirt on, because I said, man, I love LA Knight. But I said, there's only one person I have a full-blown confidence in actually taking that title off of him, and that is the man with the magic boot, the Samoan Werewolf, the man that goes from coast to coast, from post to post, Jacob Fatu. Then we flash forward to the man that's got aura. The man that's got it. Honestly, I love that new shirt, by the way. That shirt's hard. That shirt's tough. That reminds me when he first came back and when he returned in 2020. Reminds me of that, a little bit of mix of that with the OTC. I'm loving that look. So then Roman comes out. He comes out. He's saying to Paul Heyman, what's this favor? What's this favor? What's going on? Let's get Punk out here. Now, who comes out? This man, Seth Rollins. Honestly, this man's been on bull since the last 2 weeks. He does not care. This man is just doing whatever he wants to do. At this point,
God, I hate his laugh.
I know, right? This point, he asked him, what are you even doing out here? There's no reason. I'm out here, and whatever happened with me and Punk was based off of trust. It was based off of loyalty. I made a promise to my wise man because he made a promise to me. That's what we do. It's about loyalty. Honestly, they kept throwing that loyalty word in front of Seth Rollins' face so many times.
It was funny.
Like so many times. Every time they say loyalty, they just kept looking at Seth.
You're not loyal, brother.
Seth ain't loyal.
Seth ain't loyal. He's not. And then, even after that, now we finally get a question. Because Roman kept saying to Punk, well, let's get Punk out here. Punk comes out, and Punk tells us what the favor is. CM Punk says he wants Paul Heyman to be his wise man, his advocate. The man said he wants him at his side, at his corner at WrestleMania. Roman laughs. He chuckles. Honestly, he thinks this was a joke. And he asked him to tell him no. Paul Heyman started to cry. We got to give Paul Heyman an Emmy or something. This man deserves
Please give this man an Academy Award.
Because he's really the one that's selling this. He really is.
I can't, my tribal chief.
I can't.
I can't, tribal chief.
And of course, that baffles Roman. Roman's like, no, you're going to tell him. And he can't. And of course, who's laughing at it? CM Punk. He's got that smirk. Who else is laughing at it?
Seth.
The man.
Hate him. I hate him.
I love this for Seth.
That's my dude, though. I ain't gonna lie.
This looks so good for Seth. Like, this is what I knew it was going to be something off the wall. I knew it was going to be something crazy. I told you. He's laughing. Roman at this point feels like he's the only one that's just blindsided, just betrayed. And he's just talking to Paul. What happens? CM Punk comes and he attacks Roman Reigns. Hits him with a go to sleep. That was just him and Seth. Seth, he don't care. What does he do? He leaves. He walks out. He don't give a damn because at this point, what do I have anything to do with this? I got what I wanted. Both of y'all are pissed. And this is the finish, right? Man. Now, to be honest, they cooked. They cooked. This was a complete cookout, barbecue, what else? A grill. I don't know what else I can say when it comes to this heat with this. This was good. This was an extremely great episode. This is how you really build up WrestleMania matches.
Show so good, make you want to smack your mama.
Hey, mama. Hey, you on Raw? Now, one thing I want to talk about real quick. I love to see my man Ray Phoenix make that debut. I think he had a strong debut, and to have Nathan Frazier be the man to do the debut with, I thought it was perfect. I thought that was the perfect person to do that match with. Not gonna lie, that little hiccup though did really scare me to the point even the crowd was saying you effed up. You get it. You have some moments, but Ray looked so good, and honestly, that promo they cut at the end, I was like, man, this looks good for him. So we gotta do something more with him. We gotta do something really good. Honestly, again, we are so close to WrestleMania. I think that's what's kind of really scaring me, and it's a little alarming. Like we got all these new signings coming in, and we're like a few weeks from WrestleMania. What are we gonna do with them? What are we going to do? Because we got a lot here. But another thing I really want to talk about, I got to talk about this Charlotte and Tiffy Tom situation, man. I don't know what's going on with this. This is something where I'm really just very concerned more than anything. You know, first of all, I thought it was a little weird. Both of y'all got similar outfits on.
They dress like sisters.
Mm-hmm. Like y'all both came with the lace stuff. I didn't understand that. It's like, Y'all are on the mic, and I get it. We're gonna boo Charlotte Flair. We're gonna boo her. Yeah, we get it. But Tiffy time, man. I was with it. I was for it for majority of it.
Sosa got a comment in here, said, midi time. And I hate to say it, but I mean, she's been proving him right this last few weeks.
Yeah, midi time. I think that's hilarious. Midi time is going crazy. Midi time is going crazy. So,
that's diabolical.
Midi
time.
Midi time.
It's midi time.
That's diabolical, man.
I mean, he ain't lying.
It's just actually not. Because the promos that's been going on with them, it's not good. It's not good at all. I mean, yeah, you could say the whole 0-3, mic drop. Oh, let me walk off. All right, but I mean, the delivery's not great. Then you hit a little S-bomb. Okay. The crowd don't react the way it should have. They didn't pop how it should have. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if this is just a delivery problem or whatever, but something's got to change with this. This isn't looking good for this whole thing. Honestly, we know it's going to be a banger of a match. We know it's going to go crazy. But honestly, this story, it's not looking good. It's not looking clean. Another thing I'm going to touch on. I don't know why we're wasting our time with this whole tag team situation. I think we're going to find out the week before that this is going to be a fatal four-way, fatal five-way match. So we're going to see what happens. I still don't see it. I see what you're saying, Sosa. I still don't see it happening for the Motor City Machine Guns. I think still, if anybody's going to retain, I think it's still going to be the Profits because I think it's been too much when it comes to them. It's too much. It's too long for them.
Pissed that they lose.
If they lose, and honestly, I don't think they're going to do that. And I think because there's been so much controversy going on, I wouldn't say so much controversy, but there's been so many talks lately about the whole thing with black wrestlers and black wrestlers being on the card and things like that. And honestly, I don't think that's going to happen. Not just because of that situation, but business-wise. If we're talking about business, they just wouldn't look good if you took the titles off the Street Profits. It's not going to look good. And just like we talked about with the New Day before, you put the titles on them, business is going to start booming. I promise. Why? Because these guys got heat. These guys got an aura right now. They got a very heel aura to them right now. You want that. You want to build off of that. But again, I still can see something maybe down the line. Maybe Profits have this title for, we'll see, maybe. I want to give it at least 9 to 10 months. But we'll see. My man's still trying to catch up. Yeah, they need it. They need it. And of course, got to talk about the man with the magic boot. Last thing for me, the man with the magic boot went crazy. That man is about to really have that U.S. title, bro. I'm telling you, it's gonna be on him, and he's gonna bring it home. And when he does, I'm pretty sure if he wins this title, we're gonna see Solo definitely be Solo. Because there ain't going to be no love.
It's going to be Solo.
I'm telling you, ain't going to be nothing. And, of course, OTC. Roman, Seth, Punk. I mean, greatness, aura, cinema. You talk about everything that Roman was doing, the facial expressions, everything he does, the laugh. Everything. That man's got aura. Stop playing with Roman. Stop playing with the OTC. Stop playing with the Tribal Chief. I don't even hate to say it, even just to joke around, just to be a troll. The big dog. Stop playing with him.
The big dog.
Stop playing with him, man. Look, they cooked this, man. They cooked this whole show. This whole show was great. Naomi. Oh, man. I loved everything about that. Y'all keep cooking. Proceed with caution. Mr. Exclusive, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Man, another heavy week on SmackDown. Shout out to Sosa because I thought the comment was pretty funny, but he might be right on. They hadn't even watched SmackDown yet, and he still said SmackDown was better than Raw. Well, guess what, sir? You're 100% correct. you're 100% correct. When you watch it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the case. Look, here's the deal. They're doing a good job once again setting up for Mania. Other than Tiffy and Charlotte, God, the women's division is pissing me off. But I'm gonna let it fly. But I thought that the having CM Punk there in Chicago, great energy, great feel, great start. The first 5 minutes they just cheered him. the first 5 minutes when he first came out and talked to Paul. I thought that the way that they set everything up, I had something in my heart told me he was going to want Paul Heyman to walk with him. I did see a clip earlier that day before the episode even dropped. Somebody was like, I think this is the favor. And somebody was like in the comments was like, if this is the favor, that's crazy. And it was the exact favor. It's the funniest thing. I don't know how they must work for the company because they knew it. So I mean, I thought Roman was like, oh, you're gonna be crazy, man. I thought Roman was gonna be all no big deal when he said it. But come on, Paul. No, this is not happening. I thought that's what the way he was gonna go towards it. But this was well played. Paul Heyman, like we said, deserves an Academy Award. Beautifully done. Acting was 100% on point. I will say this, and then I don't know if this is going to be a popular opinion on this, but Seth Rollins feels out of place in this match, which is crazy because him and CM, the crazy thing about it is they all have beef with each other. But the way this has been going, especially the last 2 weeks, he feels out of place in this match. He's like the third wheel. He was mad last week because CM Punk was getting his main event, which, like I said, I'm like, why are you upset? You're in the main event too. And it's funny because what does he say? I had time to think about it last week, and I'm pretty much, I'm in the, it is what it is. But he realized,
we know y'all listening.
Like,
we know y'all watching.
Right, 100%. So, but I feel like it just there's something about it that he doesn't feel like. I feel like I want just CM Punk and Roman, personally, and it's like Seth's there, great. But there's something about it right now that is just not clicking. Like it feels like the main storyline within this storyline is CM Punk and Roman. That's all I really care about in this match. But here's the kicker: Seth Rollins, in my opinion, is going to win this match. I said it a couple weeks ago. I'm saying it now. He needs this one more than the other two do. And I feel like because he's kind of been the outcast in this, he's the one that gets the win. Yeah, look. It's CM Punk is getting his WrestleMania moment. That's all fine and dandy, but there's just something about it that makes me say, "Hey, I think this is going to be Seth Rollins' win," and he needs it. He just needs it more than the other guys. Thing I do want to talk about was the Kevin Owens and Randy Orton thing. If this is the case and he's hurt, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. First of all, the sexiest last name in wrestling won't be at WrestleMania. That's sad within itself. But the worst part about it is I felt like this was going to probably be the match of WrestleMania. And if it's not happening, it makes me truly sad. And if it is happening, if he's not going to be wrestling, and fully hope that he gets a great recovery, all that good stuff. But man, because even Randy didn't even mess with him when he walked to the ring. If he felt like he was lying, he just acknowledged it and he just left out.
Yeah.
So all this versus Orton at WrestleMania, I'm also down for that if that ends up happening. I thought that was a nice little segue. I mean, but classic Orton, somebody getting punted at WrestleMania. I don't know who it's gonna be, but somebody getting kicked in the head. Somebody's getting kicked in the head. Naomi continues to cook. Great things from her. Love it. I think her and Jade match is actually going to be really good. But the best thing I think is going to be really good for Jade because I think Naomi's going to take good care of her in the ring and help her continue to grow as a wrestler. I think by the end of the year, we finally may get Jade in the title picture. I think they're still taking it slow, which I think is a smart move. Still make her look good. Still make her, be strong. And then when the time is right, you pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Charlotte will be the person she takes the title from. That beef is something that it may not even be tonight. It may be next WrestleMania, but I will predict now Jade and Charlotte WrestleMania 42. And I'm going to say, I'll just throw it out there now. It may happen before then, but I got a feeling that's the one they lead up to. That's that long-term storytelling. The last time they looked at each other that way was when Jade first got there. Mm-hmm. And they hadn't seen each other. Signing. Yeah, they hadn't seen each other really that much since, and it's perfectly done. You kind of you've created a beef there. It's sitting there, and when the time is right, you deposit that beef into the open beautifully. So I love what they're doing there. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I got to go back and really watch the Rey Fenix match. I didn't get a chance to watch it the way I want to. So that's something I want to, dissect a little bit more when the time is right. And I think from what I did see, I think he's going to be great for the company. And it's good to see two luchadors come in and do some really good things here in the last couple of months, especially when you've seen how luchadors or Latino wrestlers, to be honest with you, have been treated, especially in the last year or so. LWO and El Gato Macato. I know I said it wrong. But when you got all that going on, man, it's just a lot there. But great SmackDown. Fatu is Fatu. I think LA Knight retains at Mania because I think Solo is going to ruin that, and I think that goes on. I think that the Solo and Jacob thing is going to crank up because Solo's going to cost him the title, and at some point, maybe we'll get the Jacob reign that we want. But I think LA Knight retains. As much as I would love to see Jacob win that match, but I do think LA Knight retains.
I feel that.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't have much to say about SmackDown. SmackDown was great. I'm just gonna cut to like my favorite part of it, and that was Paul Heyman. I mean, I the stuff that he does, like just like behind. I don't say behind the scenes. I don't want to say like he's not the focal point, but the stuff that he's doing in the peripheral. Of like, if you're paying attention to him. So when Roman and CM are talking and you can see Paul Heyman's face, the faces he's making, like they're like, oh Lord, please don't let this, don't let the tribal chief be upset. I don't want to disappoint Punk. And then, and when Roman turns to him and says, tell him, let him down, it and his face, the way he's whimpering, it's like a sad puppy dog. And it's like, he's so good, man. He's so good. And it just sells it even more. And so Sosa's right. Like, I don't know how he started crying on the spot. Like, that's what I was looking at. The whole time Roman and CM Punk are talking, I'm focused on Paul Heyman because he is just, even though the scene is not his per se, he's delivering. And that's what I love about it. And it just adds to the story. It adds to the feel. It adds to the environment and the chaos that is about to ensue. And then what I liked also is Seth Rollins. Like before this previous episode, that aired yesterday, I was kind of with you, D'Lo, where it was like, man, Seth is feeling like a third wheel in this, and it really should just be between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. But what I liked about this week specifically with Seth Rollins is the fact that he was kind of sitting back and watching it all unfold, especially after coming into the ring and trying to explain, because for weeks now, he's been running to Roman and trying to say, listen, this dude is not good for us. He is not good. I don't like him. You should not like him. He is a hyena. And you just, and Roman is not really buying Seth because it's like the boy who cried wolf. It's coming from a hyena, himself, Seth Rollins, so it's crazy because, when you see this unfold and Seth is leaning against the turnbuckle at the end of the show and he's just watching Roman get destroyed because, CM Punk attacks Roman, hit him with the go to sleep. And he just looks at it and he's like, I tried to tell you. This is what I tried to tell you. You got what you deserve. And he just looks, laughs, walks out of the ring. I love it. I love this look right here. This right here was the money shot for me.
Look at Paul.
Pause.
Crazy word.
What I liked was how Seth Rollins is watching all of this unfold. And like you got Roman, who he was trying to warn. You got CM Punk, who's causing chaos in every which way. He's got Paul Heyman going against Roman, and Paul Heyman is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Roman Reigns is now stuck between a rock and a hard place. And then Seth just is like, you know what? I'll see you at WrestleMania. I'm out of here. I'm done with all of y'all. And he just walks out. I liked it. I really did like it. And I'm excited to see the next 2 weeks what they're going to do to kind of grow this story. That was the segment to me that I enjoyed the most, mostly because of Paul Heyman and how good Paul Heyman is. And so, yeah, it's a treat. Man. Having Paul Heyman he's a treat, man. He really is. So, yeah, good SmackDown. Like I said, we talked about Tiffy and Charlotte enough. Yeah, good show, man. That was a good show.
Midi time go crazy.
Yeah.
That's the Kangaroo midi time.
But I do appreciate the fact that outside of that SmackDown has really good, they got really good stories going where you're investing in all of these different things. Oh, I can't forget. I'm sorry. one last thing I can't forget. I was kind of with you guys on Kevin Owens when he came out. I thought this was a work, and I'm like, this ain't real. He's playing mind games. But when Randy Orton, passed him and they didn't really exchange or have anything, go between them, I started thinking maybe this is real. This is real, and I'm like, this is crazy. I feel for if this is not a work, if this is not Kevin Owens being Kevin Owens and have some grand plan and trick up his scheme he's got going on. I feel bad for him because Kevin Owens he is a phenomenal talent that just puts on great matches. And so you knew this match at WrestleMania would, be a 5-star match.
Yep.
It would be, that match, I still can't get over the match between him and Sami Zayn and him and Cody Rhodes. Like his last 2 or 3 matches have just been just A1. And so I'm like, now he's in the ring with Randy Orton. This is going to be great. But if this is him really saying, hey, look, I got to take a step away, I have to get better. I wish him the best of luck to him, his family. I hope he heals, healthily and is able to come back and get in the ring. But then at the same time, this is a great opportunity for people to really see Nick Aldis, because I don't know how many people know that Nick Aldis was a wrestler.
Exactly. And a good one.
Former NWA champion.
Yeah, world. Yeah. So it'll be a great opportunity for people to see him and for him to be able to do this on the grandest stage of a WrestleMania. So it's great that we could still get something out of this where we could see Randy Orton and we can get the treat of a Nick Aldis, even though we're not getting Kevin Owens if he's got to go away for some time.
Yeah, I'd be excited about the Nick Aldis thing. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
The way he carried himself on in NWA was just amazing. The way he gave that title prestige again. So when he lost, it hasn't been the same. They've had I think like Titus or somebody call your mama. He was champion for a while. Somebody call your mama. He was champ for a while. They had EC3, but it was a non good TNA version or even the WWE version of EC3. It just I don't know what he's got going on over there, but I would definitely be down for it. Now I'm gonna tell you why I think this is also something we have to pay attention to, and it's subtle. What color tie is Nick Aldis wearing? What color is Kevin Owens wearing? Right. I saw that and I said, and then after the RKO, because here's the thing. After the RKO, I was like, and I looked at it back, I said, they both wearing pink. And it's such a random color for him to be, not Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens has been rocking pink here and on and off because he's Canadian, he's Bret Hart. It all makes sense.
Yeah,
he's a Bret Hart guy. It makes sense. But Aldis wearing the pink at the same time, making this announcement, and then telling Randy, "I'm sorry, but you're not going to have a match." I feel like we may get this, and it would be pretty cool to see. Even though I would still want to see Orton and Owens, but I'm cool with all this. I'm cool with all this and Orton.
Yeah.
Because I think people are going to get introduced to how great Nick Aldis is. Now, I don't know if Aldis is staying in ring shape because he's been GM for like a year now.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that he's, been working out if that is the case. So it'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it really would, man. Honestly, see Nick Aldis, if he gets back in that ring, man, that's going to look good for him, man. That's going to look good. But yeah, man. Honestly, I'm not too mad about what we've seen on SmackDown this week. I think it was pretty strong. I think besides the whole thing with Charlotte and Tiffy, or should I say Charlotte and Mitty, we'll see.
So bad.
So man, I ain't gonna forgive you for that.
Yeah, but he's right. But he's right though.
He's right.
That's the bad part about it. I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. If Tiffy didn't fix this, she's gonna lose that match at Mania. And that's what I'm feeling now. I feel like Charlotte's going to win this match. Yeah, I really do. She has not performed, and if you're going to perform, you got to perform outstanding against Charlotte. Mike, everything, and you're not looking good. It does not look good right now. And like you said, it could be somebody who's writing for. It could be the delivery, which I think it is. It's the little squeak in the voice. Even Charlotte called it out. During the promo when she was like, "It's getting," she did the little squeak, and it's true. when she says her tough lines at Charlotte, they don't have no impact. She was like, that's why you're 0-3. Like, okay, you're like some mean girl from the valley that's talking about some girl in this. Like, we don't care about that. It just, I like Tiffany Time. She's an amazing wrestler, but she, like I said, she got 2 weeks.
Yeah,
she got 2 weeks to fix it.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And then people are going to be doing both wooing and booing.
Wooing and booing.
And
booing.
Well,
look, fellas, I know we about to get out of this bad boy, but before we go, I got, WrestleMania seasons on the horizon and stuff. We did a question last week. I got a fun one for you guys.
Okay.
Yay and nay on a WWE Hall of Famer, or should they be in the WWE Hall of Fame? Now, I got 7 of them for you. So if you want to elaborate a little
We're
bit,
about to get canceled.
Yeah, but here's a name. I picked weird names, so I'm intrigued to see. What do you think about these people getting in? So the first one I got, Doink the Clown.
I would say I'm gonna say yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm cool with that.
I'll say yes.
What
at
about
first,
you?
I was thinking no, but then it's like at the same time, it's like he had his moments. So
yes.
Hey, look,
I say that because I think back of being a kid watching wrestling and seeing him on there as a character, and for a time he was entertainment value. Yeah,
he was. I'm gonna go yay only for two. There's 2 reasons. One, WrestleMania 9. And when he came in the ring and he hit Crush with a fake leg or a cast or something, and he hit Crush, and I forgot who Crush was fighting. I think he was fighting Macho Man, whoever it was. Crush ended up losing the. Oh, he was fighting Doink. Don't remember, he was fighting because there was 2 Doinks or 2.
Yes, there were
Doinks.
2 Doink. Yeah,
and the second Doink came in the ring, and when he did the little motion, they were like trying to like mirror each other.
Yeah.
And then Bobby the Brain here said, "This is the greatest magic trick of all time." Every time I hear him say it,
Bobby the Brain.
Oh my God. So that moment, and then the fact that evil Doink had me like, yeah, evil Doink is that dude. They changed the music. I was like, oh shoot, that Jake tough. So I mean, look, Coco could be where it could be in. Doink can be in.
Doink can be in. Sosa says no.
Sosa says no. All right.
No.
I understand Sosa. I got next one.
I can understand too. Yeah.
The Hurricane.
Oh, yes.
It's a hurricane. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Hey, it's a hurricane.
That's not even funny. That whole
that
story he had with him and The Rock, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
When The Rock was
Hurricanes,
high
yes.
with Rock, oh my God. Yeah.
What's up with that? What's up with that, man?
Yeah.
Look, when him and Molly Holly was out there together doing stuff, hey, look, if anything, Hurricane was entertaining.
He was
when
definitely
they had my
entertaining.
man in the Titantron when he was gliding across the street. Hey, Hurricane was that dude, so I'm definitely a yay on that one. Staying in that era, tag team, Too Cool.
Yeah,
Rikishi's in.
Yeah.
But do the other
Scotty
two.
Too Hotty.
Scotty Too Hotty.
And Rico, what was it?
And Brian Christopher.
Okay.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
Yes.
But
yes.
those 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. I mean, another entertainment value. I mean, you were getting out of your seat when the worm was happening. Sometimes the worm got a bigger pop than when they were doing the dance. All right. Okay. So right now everybody's feeling pretty good. I got a good one for you here. Test. This is a test. This is a test. Test had a low key banger of a theme song. Does Test get in your opinion?
I think. You don't think so? I feel like they would give it to him just because, like, hate to say it, because he passed away.
Yeah.
I think if he was still alive, I don't think they would have gave him one.
Yeah.
But I think him passing away, I can see them doing that for sure. But I don't think so. But that'd be my only reason why I can see it.
I don't see that. I don't even know if I can say I got entertainment value. I mean, like for a minute, Test was all right. Like he was a big dude. That's a tough one. I say that one. I'd say yes, but it would be time. It would have to take way more time for you to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, but because to me, even though he was an Intercontinental Champion at one point, and he did some good stuff, and of course, we also saw him with Stephanie, and Stephanie being, that was his biggest storyline.
That was his big storyline, yeah.
Other than when him and Albert introduced Trish Stratus with TNA, so those two, that's it. But I'm gonna say no, but Test was a good worker in the ring. Yeah. He did good stuff. I could see it happening. I personally wouldn't put him in.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more here. Victoria.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Victoria.
Definitely. Yeah.
Victoria's in. Victoria's in.
Yeah, she's a multiple-time women's champion. She had that group with what was it? Her, Candice, what was it? Candice Michelle and
oh man, I can't think. It was a Dawn Marie.
No, I think I wanted. It's like no, it wasn't Eve. I'm gonna have to find out, but I know it was three of them.
Yeah,
and she had a great run with them. And then even when she was women's champion, her matches with Trish Stratus, she had a good run.
Yeah.
So I would definitely.
One of the greatest finishing moves. Period. One of her finishing move is nasty, and the Widow's Peak is a top-notch finishing move in wrestling. So she's in my book. Rick the Model Martel.
Oh,
the model had a beast of a theme song, bro. He had a beast of a theme song.
Nah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no on that one. I'm gonna let that one.
That's a tough one.
I'm trying to think. Was he Intercontinental Champion?
Never.
Did he ever win a belt? Yeah.
He the time Razor Ramon won the title. He fought Razor Ramon because they had a tournament after Shawn Michaels had got hurt. And so it was those two in the finals, or those two were in the finals of the match, and then they fought on Raw for who was going to be Intercontinental Champion. Razor Ramon won.
I say no. He's in that Test category for me.
I'm gonna say yes because of the entertainment value, and then the theme song was fire. And he come out there and be like arrogance, and he sprayed people with the spray. People got to remember also he was a tag team champion in WWE in the 80s, like in the mid 80s. So I forgot what they were, the Power Team or something like that. I can't remember the name, but he was a tag team champion in there. Last one. And we're going celebrity wing here.
Okay,
Zeus. He wrestle, but Zeus.
I don't even know.
My man Debo. Yeah. I'll give it to him. I'll give it to Debo.
Yo, man, he was the first one beating up on Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
That's why he should be Hall of Famer. Put that man in the Hall of Fame.
I forget about
So that's who I have this week, y'all. That's what I have on this week.
Yeah.
I like that, man. I liked all of
pretty
that.
Good. Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was good. Or should we say pretty deadly?
Hey, come on now.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
Oh man. But we talked
Sosa said Rick's action figures sell well. They did back in the day because I think I had a Rick the bottom.
Hey, Sosa, that's the man that's like the action figure guru right there. He knows it all.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Rick the Model. Nobody had the Jerry curl in the first assortment of him. He had his vignettes when he was at the country club talking about arrogance. I'm like, all right, that's my dude, though. that's my dude. He got booed so loud at WrestleMania 6, first WrestleMania I ever watched. He got booed so loud when he was facing Coco Beware. It was out of control. Out of control.
All right, we got some extra people. Some extra people coming in. Oh man, but we talked about some of the great things that happened with the 3 hours of fire. With Cena and Cody, that was a huge thing. The greatness with that. We talked about the things with Shawn Michaels constantly cooking up. With Jada Parker, Trick Willy Wonka, the young OG, and of course, the Ruler. And we talked about the great things with Smackdown when it came about the aura, the storyline, and everything that just kept getting better with the man with the magic boot, the OTC, Seth Rollins, the CM Punk. And of course, proceeding with caution with Naomi. So, as always, please make sure you follow us on all our social medias. Facebook, we on that. Instagram, we on that. X, we on that. TikTok, we on that as well. And as always, we strive and always push ourselves to be the best there is, the best there was, and the best that ever will be. We thank you as always for the love that y'all been showing us these last couple of weeks, because we're going to keep giving y'all heat. So, I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. We had the one and only, the legacy maker himself, Mr. Xclusive, and the one man and the only man that can check you into the Heartbreak Hotel. Because we are the Xclusive Knights, and all we do is just make sure that your nights will never
be the same.
Peace.